Okay, so this is the first round of the Charlotte Spring Open. This game was played Friday night a few days ago. My opponent is Steve Alappatt. His rating is like 2050, something like that. I wrote the ratings down on... Actually, no, I didn't write the ratings down on the score sheet. So I don't know. Anyway, he's a kid, just like everybody I played. I had the white pieces. Time control is game in 110 with a 10-second increment. Okay, he played the Sicilian. And in this position, in tournaments, I usually play c3. And to be perfectly honest, I don't do well against knight f6, e5, knight d5. I don't play white very well in those positions. I had a couple bad losses. But my opponent played d5. And this is the move order that Alyssa Melakina played when she was an active player. And I coached her in the World Junior Girls Championship over the internet. She was in Poland, I think. I'm not sure it was Poland, but I think it was Poland. And we would prepare for her games every night for the next morning. And I played the line that Alyssa played because I analyzed it with her, e5. And I think Alyssa had this 3 times in Poland and she went 3-0. Also, I don't mind having white in the advanced French. So if black plays knight c6, I play d4, and Alyssa had advanced Frenches too, and she won all of them. But I haven't studied this in 10 years. But okay, I mean, want to play something I don't always play. A freak in the sheet subscribe, thank you. Okay, so he played d4. That's one of the main moves. And now I know you play bishop to d3, and eventually you play bishop e4. So that's about all I remembered. And then that's correct. Lots of grandmaster games in this position. Played knight c6. I castled. Played knight e7. And in this position, there was a Fabiano Caruana game where he played bishop e4. But I was worried about my e5 pawn when black can play queen c7 and knight g6. Didn't want to sacrifice a pawn on move 7. So I played rook e1 to, bolster my pawn, and my rook's better on e1 than f1. That's fine. A6 is not a novelty, but it basically is. It's not been played at the top level. In this position, the engine says bishop e4 and a4 are equally good. I played a4, b6. Engine says white is better by about 0.5. So the opening has been a success. Knight a3 is correct. Bishop b7. And this is the first time in the game I did something the engine doesn't like. And what the engine does like is a bit confusing. Although, no, in this position, I played bishop e4. That's correct. Knight d5. And this is the position I was talking about. The engine wants me to play knight c4. And I thought if I played knight c4, he would play b5. But in this position, the engine says I can take on d5, which I didn't see. And if you take the knight, then I'm a pawn up. I play bishop takes pawn. If you take with the queen, I win the exchange. And if you take with the e pawn, then knight d6 check, it says is winning for white. Although I mean, I don't see right away why it's winning for white, but in this, like, obviously they take in this position, the engine says king d7 is better than king f8. Well, if I thought black would play king d7 and I saw this variation, I would like it. In this position, it says white's +3, even though it's equal material and my pawn's hanging. So I don't know why. Okay, I'm looking at what the engine gives, and it's very strange. So okay. So anyway, the best move is knight c4. The chess.com engine and my chess-based engine both say so. And they say white has an advantage of about 0.6. Okay, so I moved the right piece, but not to the right square. Played knight c2. And now I have a small advantage. And I'm going to win the d4 pawn, which isn't the end of the world for black, because often black sacrifices the d4 pawn and has good compensation. Okay, the engine likes what black did. Black played rook b8, defending his bishop. I took, which is correct. The engine wants him to take with the pawn. He took with the knight, which is what I expected. And in this position, after I trade, the engine wants me to play d3 and says I'm better by about 0.4. But I'm not sure why. The black's position seems fine to me. That's what I thought during the game. So I thought, I went through a lot of trouble to win a pawn, so let's win a pawn. Then the engine says it's about equal now. He played knight b4, which is correct. I played knight f3, which is also correct. Now he made a move the engines don't like. They want him to play knight d3. Knight d3 is a very logical move. He played bishop takes e4, rook takes, queen d3. And in this position, it says that rook e3 and rook d4 both give white an advantage, but somehow rook d4 is better. My rook looks really strange on d4 because it can get trapped, and he has bishop c5 later or knight c2. So I didn't play rook d4, but supposedly that's a slightly better move. I played rook e3, and now in this position, he made a real mistake. It says he should play queen d5 or queen d7, and I'm up 0.74. He played queen c2. Let's see, I'm getting a text. Okay, that's unfortunate. Friend of mine, also a student occasionally, he was going to open a chess cafe and talked about it for about a month, and then he decided not to do it. I think it makes sense financially. Okay, I played queen e2, and he made another move the engine doesn't like, rook c8. And in this position, the engine says I'm just winning by playing rook c3, which I did. Now it says I'm winning. And he took, which is forced. I took with the b pawn, obviously. And in this position, he made a blunder, played knight d3, which is what I expected. Engine says he has to play queen d3, and white's winning anyway. Silvo6 subscribed, but there's different kinds of winning. That's a little bit winning, 2.6, but the way he played I'm completely winning, but I missed it. Played knight d3. Now it says I'm plus 5.3. I played knight d4, which is the correct move. Played knight takes c1. And here I don't want to call it a blunder because I'm very close to winning after my next move, but I'm completely winning if I play the right move. And I didn't play the right move here. And I did not consider the right move. It didn't enter my thought process. So this is the first question I'll ask you guys. What's the best move for white here? And thanks again for subscribing, Silvo6. Well, I thought I was bad at chess, and then I saw your answers. God damn. Most of the moves that are suggested lose for white. I think Queen B5 was an April Fool's joke. I think resigns is better than Queen B5. Okay, so 3 people got the right answer. Answer's Queen F3. I didn't look at Queen F3, but the idea is I'm threatening his queen, and Queen A8 check or Queen C6 check, I think they both lead to checkmate. I think he's mated. I didn't see Queen F3. I didn't even look at it. I did look at Queen A6, and of course, he plays Queen D1 check, trades queens, and moves his knight away, and he's up a piece. So after Queen C4 or Queen A6, Queen D1 check should win for black. A lot of people suggested Queen F1 and Queen E1. I played Queen E1 because if I play Queen F1, he takes my pawn on D2. So Queen E1 is plus 1.7. So that's winning, but, close. And Queen F3 is plus 5.5. So I'm just completely winning after Queen F3 because he can't stop me from harassing his king, and his pawns are all hanging and he's getting mated. But yeah, I didn't look at Queen F3. It never occurred to me. I think if I looked at Queen F3 and analyzed it, I would have played it. But it never occurred to me to play Queen F3. It only occurred to me play Queen E1 or Queen F1. The game usually ends after checkmate, but not when it's April Fool's. Okay, so I played Queen E1, so I'm still sort of winning. Now his queen's attacked. Played Queen D3. I correctly took. Played Bishop C5. I correctly played Queen E2. Traded. Played King D7. All these moves are engine moves after Queen E1. And I figure I'm playing a kid who's around 2050, and I'm a pawn up in a winning endgame. That should be my bread and butter. But I played this endgame terribly, and I let him equalize more than once. So the engine wants me to play F4, and I thought, his rook could come to C4, and my A-pawn's weak, and I have this big center, so I should push it. And the engine says no. It says, you suck. I played C4. That gives away half my advantage. And then in this position, I didn't play f4, although I almost did. And then I was like, I don't like f4. I'm going to play king f1 so my king gets over here quicker. King f1's terrible. Now the game should be a draw with correct play. He should play bishop a3, but he played f6, which also is in the drawing zone. I played f4. We traded. And in this position, it's about the same which way I take, but I took with f-pawn, not seeing his counterplay. And now it says it's equal again. He checked, and then I did something I've almost never done in my chess career. I played king e1 relatively quickly, and my hand was still on my king. And then I was like, man, king e1's terrible. So then I play king g1, which is correct. And in this position, black should play bishop g5. And the engine says it's equal. I'm better after king g1. After king e1, I realized he has bishop b4 check, king d1, rook f1 check, king c2, rook f2. So after king e1, like, it's equal. So I played king g1. Luckily, my hand was still on my king on e1. Now it says I'm much better again. Okay, these moves are correct. And in this position, it says I should play rook d3, and that seems like during the game, I thought if I played rook d3, he'd move his bishop, and then I lose my c4 pawn. And then the engine gives some crazy nonsense. It says rook g3 and rook h3 and rook f3, and it says I give my pawn away, but I'm still better. That's beyond my pay grade. So I played rook c2 because that defends my pawn, and that's no good. Now it's equal again. Check. And in this position, I was pretty sure he was going to play rook f2. And after rook f2, the engine says it's equal. Engine also says it's equal after g5. Okay, but he played a strange move, bishop b4. That's no good, because now I can relocate my knight so that my rook defends f2 and my knight gets to a better square. So I played knight c1, which is the best move. So I alternate playing best move and ridiculous move. It's like every other move is either ridiculous or the best. Okay, and now I'm like in the zone again of like close to winning. He played bishop e7, which is another terrible move. And now it says I'm winning again. Now it says I'm up 1.7. Played rook c8. King g4 is the best move. Like knight c1's best, knight d3's best, king g4's best, and some of my moves are the worst. Now it says I'm up 2.6. Okay, and now I put the goddamn hammer down. And the final position looks like I destroyed him, even though I was like putzing up this endgame. Now, engine says I'm up 3.4 by playing d5, which I did. g6, d6. Now it's completely winning. Yeah, I finished the game off like really well, but I made some dumb moves before that. Well, now if he takes, I play knight takes check, and he can't save his e-pawn, and so forth. So he played rook f5, which allows me to play c6 check. God damn. Okay, and he played king c8. I played c7. So the problem black has is if he moves his bishop, I break through with my pawns. I play d7 check, king takes d7, and then c8 equals queen. That's actually my threat. Now, some of you think I'm threatening to take the bishop, which does win, and easily, but d7 check gives me a new queen. I'll play c8 queen. So here he should resign, but he missed that, and he played bishop takes c7. I'm a piece up for no pawns, so, I'm not sure why he's playing on. Okay, and here I forced resignation by playing the best move. That was the next question I was going to ask you guys. What should white play here? Boy, there's a lot of craziness in the chat while I was talking about my game. Tensor extension banned you and your children's children. Why does everybody get the right answer? I want wrong answers so I can tease you. I want king g4. I want knight b5 because you have the right move, but you have the wrong notation. Yeah, knight f2. There we go. Yeah. But he already wrote the right answer. Rook c8. Yeah, there we go. Those are the answers I want. Okay, I did play knight b4. And now the engine says it's mate in 6. Because I'm threatening knight c6 check. And then d7 check. And then d8 discovered mate. God damn. So the best move for black here is rook f7. That staves off mate the longest. That's mate in 6. Otherwise, it's mate in 5. So knight b4 was a good finishing move, which everybody found. Then my opponent resigned. The snake Benoni's fine at any level, except maybe the top 30 in the world. Then I wouldn't do it. So this is a weird game because I made a lot of good moves and a lot of bad moves. That's the way I play chess now. Sometimes I have it, and 25% of the time I don't have it. Then I play terrible. Sounds like when I'm playing poker.